Hello everyone, and welcome to this video. My name is Alejandro Rondon. I'm a pre-sales engineer at Centreon, and today I want to talk about how you can merge the metrics from Centreon Infrastructure Monitoring and the web performance data from Centreon Digital Experience Monitoring. Because perfect, you have already deployed the platform, the Centreon Infrastructure Monitoring platform and the DEM solution. You have them implemented. You can see the metrics from all your host devices, host servers, databases, etc. And you can also see exactly how your end users are experiencing your services, how they experience your application. This is a very, very powerful views, very important views to have, but it's only half the battle if you have them in different silos. I know what you're thinking, but how is this possible to merge these two worlds? Is possible to have the health of my infrastructure and the user experience in one single portal, or unify them in one unified report? Well, the short answer is yes, you can do that, and I'm here to show you this. So this is the purpose of this video. So we're going to show you exactly how you can gap that information between both of those platforms. So first, let's start with infrastructure monitoring. So here I have a platform, the pre-sales Centreon infrastructure platform. You know what you expect. This is not going to be a full demo on the video of how you can use the Centreon infrastructure monitoring. For that, you can watch this link. But for everything else, we know that we have here the metrics from all of our servers, hosts, and all different devices that we might have running IT or OT. We have some tools that will help us gain some time by, for example, the auto discovery tool or all the connectors that we have, both of them that we're going to use today in our example. And of course, you have some unified views of reporting and dashboards, etc. Now, let's talk about Centreon DEM. So as you know, Centreon DEM is more dedicated to everything that is the experience of the end users. So you have information from synthetic transactions. So it's going to be robots are going to be executing the journeys or different steps in your websites and your applications. You have real user monitoring. And of course, you have some performance and the digital sovereignty score information. Again, this is not going to be a full detailed information of this. For that, you can see a demo here that we can see a whole view of Centreon DEM. But now the important part is how we can actually integrate both Centreon infrastructure monitoring and Centreon DEM. And for that, we're going to use the connector, as we said. And the purpose here is to bring the data from SaaS, the SaaS world of Centreon DEM, to your infrastructure monitoring platform. It both works, either an infrastructure monitoring platform deployed on-premise or SaaS. Both will work, and you can use this connector in both environments. So let's see how we can do that. So first, we are going to check that we have the correct connector installed. So of course, we see all the list of all the connectors that we have on Centreon, but we're going to search for Centreon DEM. So for here, I'm going to see that I have installed already the Centreon DEM REST API connector. Check that is the stable version, it's not the deprecated information. There's a Quanta API connector that is deprecated. We do not suggest you to use this one. So we have the connector, we have everything running here. And second, let's add this host. So for that, we're going to go to our list of hosts, and I'm going to add a new host. I'm going to say that I'm going to call it DEM. The watch is the connector, is the website that we are supervising with, we are checking with Centreon DEM. Is our community website. If you don't know it, I highly suggest you to visit thewatch.centreon.com. And I'm going to give an address. This address is going to be the API address for Centreon DEM. So it's Quanta.io. It still has the old domain server. And now we add the template. So for that, I'm going to use the Centreon DM REST API custom, because if that, we can modify it as we wish. Here, we're gonna need 3 very important information. First is going to be the API token. So what is the API that is going to give us access to retrieve the data from the Centreon DM Central, and the site ID, which is the how we recognize the different server sites that we are seeing, or the different organizations. So for that, we go to the Centreon DM. The first information for the site is very simple. How to retrieve it is on the URL. So after the site, you will have a number, a 5-digit number. That will be your site ID. So I copy paste this, and I copy paste this in the Centreon DM site ID information. Here I have that. The other important information that I'm going to receive is the API token. For that, you might need administrator rights, or you might need to contact an administrator on your information. But we can go directly to the settings, and in settings we go to integrations, and we do have the list of tokens that appear. For that, I created one today for me, so I'm going to copy paste that one, and I'm going to paste it into our information. And then here I'm just going to say Centreon DM check. And with that, I have all the hosts completely configured. I just one detail. I'm right now with our platform is on SaaS. So we are not doing any checks from the central server. So the monitoring server, I have to choose one of my pollers. And with that, we have everything ready. If you wish, you can do, again, all the configuration that you want to do for your host. If you want to set a particular option or categories or host groups. So all that information that you can add as you wish. So with that, I'm going to save this information. And of course, as we know, since we did some modifications in our poller, we have to deploy the new configuration. So once that we have that, I'm just going to check in my resource status. I'm going to search for DM in the watch. So my new host that I just created. Sorry. Let's, if we type better, that will be. We saw that they are pending. So we have all this information that we have pending and running. So we have them, they watch, and we have 2 checks that are pulling. So I'm just going to force them so we see some information that we're running. As we can go, if we go back to our the Centreon DM website. So here we come back to our view. I'm gonna see that, for example, in the user journeys, we have several different journeys that we're going for, because we're going for the homepage, or we're going for the full navigation of all the website, either on desktop or via mobile, in the mobile version. So I have all of these different journeys that I'm doing. So how we can bring them back to have that information on the Centreon DM? Well, it's very simple. Just need to do a scan for this host. So I'm going to search the host that I just created. So it's this one. I'm going to copy paste the name, and I go to the services, scan, and I'm going to scan the servers, and I can search either user journeys, incidents, or statistics. Let's go for statistics first. So he's going to pull the Centreon DM SaaS, and we're going to check all the journeys that we have for that site ID, and of course that they have access with the API token. So while he's doing that, we are going to retrieve them, and then we can add them as services into our host that is going to be the DM Centreon the watch. And once that we have them, for example, I'm going to add the host, the homepage, and the full journey desktop, and I'm going to add them again. I just need to redeploy the configuration. since we changed something in the configuration of our server, of our puller. And once that we have them, now I can search for my host, for example, DEM the watch, and I see that I have the new 2 hosts that are joining. So again, I'm just going to force check them, so we have some metrics that are going to receive. And as you can see, we already have some metrics. So for example, I have all the overview of the RUM statistic, the real user monitoring. So I have all the metrics that are applied to them. So for example, how many page views, how many was the bounce rate, was the time to first byte, was the time to next paint, the load, etc. And as we were waiting, we got the information from our journeys. So we are going to see, for example, if we go the full journey desktop, I'm going to see all the data from all the journeys that I'm doing from all the steps. So that information is also very important. And this is the most important part, since now I have all that web performance metrics in Centreon IAM. Now I can just use the benefits of using Centreon. So for example, having dashboards, maps, and BAMs, and all the rest of the information that we can have. So for example, if we go to a dashboards view, I'm going to show you an example that we have running from the data that is coming from both Centreon DEM and Centreon Infra monitoring. So for example, here we have the watch. So we're going to see the observability BAM. So for those that don't know what's the BAM, check this video. And that we have all the metrics from all the different indicators, both from Infra monitoring and DEM. So I have that information check, and I can see that full view, not just the hosts and the services that are running, how's the data that is running, but also how the user is being impacted, how they're doing. And of course, I can bring a lot of information from that view for them. I can also bring some information, for example, the steps. If I have all the steps for the running the scenario, then I can just bring, so for example, in the watch journey, we have the homepage, the accept cookies, we do a login, we search some articles in the forum, we log in, we log out, all that information. We can have the metrics running here. And of course, again, with all the different indicators from DEM and also from Centreon and from monitoring. And with that, we just finished. So thank you very much for this video, for your time. I hope you find this video interesting. If you have more questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Either the sales team or pre-sales team, my team, you can contact us directly if you want, or you can watch more videos on YouTube, or actually join the watch, the Centreon, the watch.centreon.com. So you have more information directly from articles from our customers, users, but also from the product team and the rest of the team of Centreon. So thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye.